Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Epic Games has added Darth Vader back into Fortnite, and, well, it's caused a lot of interesting situations, discussions, and a little bit of backlash, to say the least, and I find it hilarious. Over here at That Park Place, reporting on it, AI Darth Vader in Fortnite sparks SAG-AFTRA. Oh no, the Film Actors Guild is upset. Backlash over voice actors' rights. And I find it interesting. It's my understanding that James Earl Jones willingly sold the likeness of his voice to Disney for entertainment purposes, as this article is going to talk about. So, too bad, so sad? But let's see. The AI Darth Vader, that's not even the least amount of fun that this thing has caused, and since been patched out. AI Darth Vader in Fortnite has created some hysterical moments for players. Well, some would find them not so hysterical, but SAG-AFTRA is not amused. Oh no, the Film Actors Guild has their panties in a twist. Darth Vader has entered Fortnite yet again, and this time he talks. An AI-generated version of his iconic voice does. The new in-game companion feature allows players to interact with NPCs powered by artificial intelligence. Again, something that James Earl Jones himself signed off on. Not his estate, not his family. The man, the myth, the legend, himself, James Earl Jones. AI Darth Vader is among the latest additions. However, fans quickly noticed something strange. He wasn't just spouting rewritten lines, he was responding to them. And I find some of the lines that he was giving out, I'm curious what sparked those lines. How did they get to him dropping particular words and those particular lists that I really don't want to talk about because, hey, YouTube, how you doing? But making a tier list of, well, races, ethnicities, and whatnot, and rather, he was responding to them, yeah. AI version of the iconic Sith Lord was eerily convincing. We are the architects of our own destruction, ladies and gentlemen. Stop it. Stop doing that. Stop it. There's too many books, too many stories, too many movies about things like this. Either stop it or get ready to bow down and worship the benevolent AI leaders that we will have in the future. Moving on. Answering questions in the deep, commanding tone made famous by the late James Earl Jones. And unfortunately, because it's AI, there will be absolutely no emotion behind it. None of the iconic inflections of different words that only James Earl Jones could accomplish. And hell, only an actual human being could put out there. But hey, that's not the discussion of this video. It even had a sense of humor. Oh, I guess I need to go watch Geeks and Gamers and Ryan Kendall's videos on this, because I've only heard it in passing. I haven't heard yet the actual voices. But again, not what this video is about. I digress. Let's see. The original trilogy demonstrated the Emperor's might, and the prequels elucidated its fall. As for the sequels, they do not exist, which amuses me. Oh, that's one of the things he said. Good old AI Darth Vader doesn't like the sequels, huh? Naturally, this blew up online in hilarious fashion, I might add. Not because it was funny, or not just because it was funny, but because it definitely wasn't the kind of thing Disney would approve of. Who wrote this article over at That Park Place? Raven, I have some bad news for you. Disney had to sign off on this. Now, whether or not they signed off exactly what was said is irrelevant. You're going to get to the point where people are going to understand. People are going to realize that you will be unable to control AI. It's artificial, but it is intelligence. It's part of it. It can, you're going to have to give it access in order to be used in such a way where it has to talk back and respond to other players. You're going to have to do extensive amount of work on what words you can and cannot use. But if you go too far with the words that cannot be used, I believe they did that with the patch again, it limits the responses. Well, apparently they didn't put enough limitations on this good old Darth Vader AI voice, and it blew up like Alderaan, right in their faces. James Earl Jones signed off, but not on this. Again, yes, he absolutely 100% did. Once you sign, that's the issue with signing your rights away, signing away your likeness, your voice, your art. Once you sign it over to someone else, they are free to do with it as they please, unless you have specific stipulations in your contract. And unfortunately, somehow I don't think that was in there. Here we go. James Earl Jones, before he died, had already agreed to license his voice for AI recreation. End of discussion. No argument, unfortunately. It was an error. It was, that, as I see it, a mistake. Not enough restrictions put on there. And of course, the internet is going to internet, and the internet always wins in these cases. It's funny. It's hilarious. People will talk about it for, a hot minute, perhaps a fortnight. Ha! See what I did there? Please don't leave. And it will be forgotten. It'll be chuckled about in years to come as, hey, remember when this happened? Yeah, and they'll move on. Of course, by then we could be serving oil to our, or being mechanics and servants and batteries to our new robotic overlords. Where are we at? Back in 2022, he signed off on the use of his archival recordings so they could be digitally recreated by a Ukrainian startup called Respeecher. I believe they used that in Obi-Wan for future projects. That technology, it says it right there. It used it in Kenobi. With Lucasfilm's direct involvement and approval. Somebody forgot. It's unclear whether or not Fortnite's AI Vader uses the same tech, but the resemblance is striking. If Fortnite went and used James Earl Jones's voice, Darth Vader's voice, without explicit permission from Disney, Disney has every right, and probably likely should, take them to the cleaners. So, knowing what sort of company Disney is, I can't imagine, considering Epic goes out of their way to get licenses from every single likeness of all cross IPs across the globe, I can't imagine they would take the chance of using Darth Vader's voice without explicit permission, without signed, dated, lettered, official stamped across the board to be able to use it without any sort of backlash. Now, did anyone, I don't think anyone had any idea that this was going to happen as far as the words that were dropped, but let's move on, because SAG-AFTRA strikes back. Before that, regardless, Fortnite isn't a Lucasfilm project, doesn't matter. It's a game developed by Epic Games, doesn't matter. And the implementation of the AI Vader voice was reportedly handled by their subsidiary, so Llama Productions is more than likely the one that move has landed them in hot water, only with a bunch of tits and for the Film Actors Guild. That's the only place it landed them in hot water. I'm sure Disney is a little upset. Lucasfilms is a little irritated, perturbed with the publicity that this is getting. But again, the idea that they would have used it, that Llama Productions would have gone about doing this without permission, signed, sealed, and delivered to them from Disney, from Lucasfilm, it goes beyond me. But again, SAG-AFTRA is gonna SAG-AFTRA. Film Actors Guild, hey. May 19th, 2025, the Film Actors Guild filed an official unfair labor practice charge against Llama Production, claiming the AI Vader violated their union agreement. Is Llama Production forced to follow the union agreement? They had a deal with Disney to use the voice of James Earl Jones, which Disney has every right to use, regardless of the Film Actors Guild. Sorry, I don't think you have a leg to stand on. Go cry in a corner and go away. The union alleges that Epic replaced union voice talent with synthetic speech without consultation. Why are we having to consult? Why do we have to sit down and talk with an organization that is only interested in filling the pockets of the people at the top? Unions are there for the unions. They're not there for the employees, the workers, the people. They're not even there for the companies that they're going out there against. They're there for themselves. My opinion, it is what it is. A decision that sidesteps negotiated protections. What on earth how are you going to negotiate with an AI voice? Here's the negotiations that took place. Hey, Lucasfilms, we'd like to use Darth Vader's voice. Can you give us the use of his AI that he signed off on, that James Earl Jones himself signed off on? Yes, why, here you go, because they had a contract with James Earl Jones that he signed himself that said Lucasfilm can use their voice. Disney can use his voice whenever they see fit. Therefore, if Llama Productions, Epic Games, and Fortnite already have a deal in place to use Darth Vader's likeness, it only stands to reason that they will use James Earl Jones's voice. Why go through the union? Outdated, useless, detrimental system that needs to go away. Yes, I'm talking about unions. When they started, they were useful. Labor practices were abysmal at the time. However, we don't live in that day and age anymore. Unions don't represent merit. We need to bring back merit. Work for your job. That kind of stuff. Again, my opinions. Spokesman from the union emphasized that they're not against AI tech as long as they're getting money for it. Because I believe it came out that that was the main reason for the strikes, the Film Actors Guild strikes. They saw AI coming. They knew it was coming, but they wanted to have a say in where the money went for it, which is scummy as hell. If you think about it, that proves they're not interested in their workers. They want to follow the money. Where's the money, Lebowski? They want their money. And if they don't get their money, situation like this, it comes up. They go after you. Exploitation. And then they want to accuse others of exploitation. They are against exploitation and the erosion of the performer's rights. You mean James Earl Jones's rights that he signed off to Disney to use his voice for entertaining purposes, which is exactly what Epic Games did with Fortnite. Am I too much repeating myself? Because, well, seems to be necessary in situations like this. The complaint is part of a broader fight over how AI will be used in entertainment, one that's grown more intense since the 2023 Film Actors Guild strike. What a shame, what a pity. This went from a funny story to a hilarious story to my side hurts because I'm laughing so hard. The Film Actors Guild panties in a twist because Disney is legally within their rights using James Earl Jones's voice. I can only assume, unless more information comes out, that Llama Productions, Epic Games, and Fortnite was fulfilling their contract, or somebody was fulfilling their contract, like whatever contract they had with Disney and Star Wars and Lucasfilms with James Earl Jones, with Darth Vader, and the likeness of his voice. And of course, all the hilarious things that players got to make Darth Vader say. I got to go watch those videos. But what do you think about this situation? Do you genuinely think the Film Actors Guild has their members' well-being in mind, or do they just want to be paid? Sounds kind of mafioso to me. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTubers beg you to do. Hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. See you on the next one.